The Curse is a masterclass in dry humour that makes you shudder like a spider just crawled over your bowels. We get scene after scene of biting social commentary that aims to tear apart the main characters for who they are and what they represent, all the while remaining stomach-churningly cringe that it makes it hard to watch in the best way possible. Nathan Fielder, one of the show's creators, is no stranger to awkward humour where what's funny isn't always the words said, but instead the context that surrounds them. Take this short scene from Nathan for you.
'Cause I know it won't be the same.
On its own, it isn't very funny, but when given the context, it becomes a completely new scene. A petrol station offers ridiculously low gas prices to draw in customers, but to get the discounted prices, you need to hike up a mountain and do a series of puzzles that takes you long into the night, where you find yourself bonding, telling tales, and singing songs around a campfire. They do all of this hard work, jumping through hoops for a measly $10.91, or a fifth of a full tank. The humour comes from the ludicrous stuff you can get people to do for money, but not in a Mr. Beast way where he tortures people for a life-changing amount. You root for those people, but you laugh at the people who are wasting their own time for almost nothing. Now, using the same style of comedy, let's say you want to show a character isn't funny. What do? What if you just have them say an unfunny joke like, "Well, Darren, your flies are down." No, they're not. I definitely had you go in there. You can then have someone react to the bad joke by doing the Jim from The Office face to signal to the audience that it was meant to be an unfunny joke. Now let's step it up a gear by having them tell a joke in front of someone with an awful sense of humour. First, you set up the character who will laugh at anything. What do you call an accountant without a spreadsheet? Lost. Now that's been established, we can bring in the unfunny character. Yeah. And what do you call an accountant spread on Darren's sheet? Gay. It's important to hold on this shot to let us simmer in the cringe and cook it to perfection. The other reason you hold on it is to again signal to the audience that this was intentionally unfunny. Displaying your intention is a very overlooked part of comedy and something people often get wrong when being sarcastic. Oh, there's a man stealing an old lady's purse over there. What happened to this country? I think it was the foreigners. This is a failed attempt at sarcasm because there is no signal that it's sarcastic, and so you just look like a racist. Oh, there's a man taking a dump in a bin over there. What happened to this country? I think it's the foreigners. Now the intent of this comment has clearly been shown as sarcasm, making you go from a racist to someone criticising the people who always blame foreigners for the world's problems. Let's take the scene with the unfunny character and ramp it up even more by adding desperation.
Oh my god, Darren, I can't believe he said that to you. That's so weird.
I know. I think I just caught him staring at me down there, so he just pretended to be making a joke.
Do you think we need to get HR involved?
I don't know. Matt says he's been driving him into work recently and he's used the same joke twice, except the second time he used a sarcastic tone so he didn't sound racist. I think there might actually be something wrong with him. Paul in accounts says there's a rumour going around that he got kicked in the head by a horse.
Oh my god, stop. I just nearly choked on my water.
Hey Anne, I've got something you can choke on. Comedy is often based around criticism, and here we are criticising a person who is so desperate for attention that they will do anything to get it. They see that comedy is a route that will take them to their goal, but they have an incredible lack of understanding of what makes something funny. Michael Scott in the US office is this character, and the humour comes from the people surrounding him that speak up to shut him down. David Brent from the UK office is also this character, but the humour comes from the people surrounding him keeping quiet out of awkwardness, which is a very English kind of funny. Cringe is proper British, because everyone in this country is miserable and repressed, which is why we are known for our queuing ability. We queue not just to keep a good system of order, but also because it saves us from having to express ourselves should someone unjustly get ahead of us. A bar is the one place in English society where we never have queues. It's just a mass of bodies trying to slip through the cracks of other bodies. But we never pipe up if someone gets served before us, even if we were there first. That's an American thing to do. We just glare at the person and hope one of the barman's hairs falls into their drink. When you're in an office and someone says something cringe, nobody will mention it right away. We need reassurance, so you'll often get a conversation like this. Is it just me, or was it really awkward earlier when he said that joke? I am so glad you said that.
I thought I was the only one.
Now you've had that conversation, you forever have your reassurance, so can come back to this person anytime there's something cringe.
Matt, you are never going to guess what he just said to Anne. Oh my God, I can already tell it's going to be something bad.
That person in the office is your cue, because a cue is reassurance that allows you to pipe up. If someone jumps ahead of you while you're lining up, well, you might let the first person go since it's not really worth making a scene for one person. But then a second person skips ahead, well, you can safely moan at them since you know the rules of the queue. You've got the reassurance. This is also what makes UK road rage so much more aggressive than a lot of other countries. We all have that reassurance to shout at people because we all think we know the rules of the road, when in actuality most people haven't got a clue, so will drive into you because they think they can merge into any lane whenever they want. Comedy is often based around criticism, and here we are criticising a person who is so desperate for attention that they will do anything to get it. Dry comedy tends to be realistic and down to earth. In real life, you don't usually get groups of people like the cast of Friends who are all attractive and experts at delivering one-liners. Real people are a bit ugly, incredibly flawed, and not terrifically funny, which is quite funny. There's a strange intimacy with shows like The Curse, where the audience observes people from afar. We watch characters going through incredibly personal experiences, but it's never romanticised. Dry comedy is a sex scene in which neither of the characters are satisfied, and then they lay there, not really sure what to do now the moment is over. There's a touching realism to the characters because we can recognise a lot of their complexities and also their failures. Dry comedy is more realistic and acts as a mirror to show us who we are, since we can all relate to that feeling of telling a joke that doesn't land. The Curse is a masterclass in dry humour because it follows these rules. The show creates these characters and adds layers upon layers of details about who they are and what they represent. It then reveals to the audience how they are supposed to feel about the characters and clearly displays its criticisms. Respect the audience and let them piece together what's funny. For dry humour to work, you must never have someone above the joke, so you can't have a Jim from The Office pulling that face to the camera. We open on a comedy club in a dimly lit, underfunded community hall that's hosted by an old man with zero success in comedy. The first line out of his mouth is about young people being easily offended, so you can't fall back on offensive words as a comedic crutch. He sets up a task for the group surrounding him, which is to make the others laugh without saying a word, and he gives them all an example. The crowd laughs at this weak display of comedy, and we begin to rotate around the group as they all display their own successful attempts to make the others laugh. The stage has been set, and we begin to rotate even faster around the group, while increasingly displaying the lack of comedic talent and sense of humour among them. We are given the sense that absolutely anything can make these people's sides split, and then the camera falls onto Nathan Fielder's character. We slowly push in, and we can feel him thinking. He doesn't laugh or chuckle at anyone else there because he's thinking. He's trying as hard as he can to come up with the funniest thing possible. The room flips as he becomes the one who makes a noise, while everyone else goes completely silent. The group continues on, and without missing a beat, they start to laugh again, while we sit and simmer in this character's embarrassment. It's then taken even further by cutting to the credits so we can absorb the scene, and all that remains is the continued laughter of the group. We end with this character's most humiliating moment that shows to everyone, including himself, how painfully unfunny he is. They painted the picture, giving us all the detail we could need, then signalled to the audience that Nathan Fielder's character is intentionally this cringy. It let us simmer in the moment of embarrassment and take it all in, but most importantly, they killed the jester because they didn't let another character steal the scene. The perfect scene.